Welcome back to Top 10 Tunes. Today we're going to be looking at the top 10 hip-hop albums that should have been classics. At number 10 is Lace Up by Machine Gun Kelly. While known today for his controversial crossover into pop punk, MGK's debut was a straightforward rap record with occasional rock flourishes. In retrospect, Lace Up predated the modern revival of the nu metal and rap rock aesthetic and can be seen as a bridge from the nu metal mainstream zenith of the late 90s to its modern resurgence. In this case, however, the potential of Lace Up was undercut by MGK himself, causing it to be a side note in the trajectory of his career. At number 9 is Do You Want More by The Roots. By 1995, alternative hip-hop was becoming a dominant form of the genre, and jazz rap had become an established practice. While A Tribe Called Quest are most closely related to this movement, it was mastered by The Roots on Do You Want More. Black Thought's flow easily matches the pace and cadences of the jazz-influenced music, and the album is elevated in its originality through the use of the band in of itself. Ultimately, The Roots' innovative career have been overshadowed by their position as the house band of The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. However, this album can be seen as a high point in hip-hop's approach to arrangement and evolving a relatively young genre. Coming in at number 8 is Metaphorical Music by Nujabes. The phenomenon of lo-fi hip-hop can be attributed to this singularly influential producer, contributing to the Samurai Champloo soundtrack in the early 2000s and inevitably becoming a part of the underground home producer culture. Nujabes was posed to become a large name in the hip-hop community. Sadly, his solo output, including Metaphorical Music, flew under the radar. This album in all rights should be considered a classic, but in today's culture, the sound of this record can be felt in any lo-fi production or unobtrusive backing track. This record is a summary of a sound that would find popularity almost 2 decades later. Number 7 is Man on the Moon, The End of Day by Kid Cudi. While Kid Cudi is now an established alternative hip-hop artist, his debut album doesn't get enough credit for its impact on modern hip-hop. Psychedelic instrumentation, a pseudo-narrative of self-discovery, and the melding of sung and rapped lyrics, now commonplace in all of pop music, created a template for future rappers and producers alike. Similarities can be made between Man on the Moon and the recording output of executive producer Kanye West, but Kid Cudi carves out a unique sound and voice on his debut. Success did come to the record, however, it should come up more often in conversation of hip-hop's evolution and recent trajectory. Coming in at number 6 is Small Talk at 125th and Lenox by Gil Scott-Heron. Okay, this choice may be out there, but hear us out. Gil Scott-Heron performing his spoken word poetry over jazz instrumentation and improvisation was something very different than the folk music at the time, and the political commentary found on Small Talk at 125th and Lenox was far more to the point and scathing. This brashness and combination of poetry with free-form arrangement created the blueprint for hip-hop itself. Because it predated the rise of Sugar Hill Records in 1979 by about 9 years, it's been overlooked in the creation of the genre. However, Gil's debut had all the makings of a classic legacy record. At number 5 is The Rising Tide by Fort Minor. The sole recording of Mike Shinoda's side project, The Rising Tide, had always had the uphill battle of not being looked at as a blip in Shinoda's long and incredibly successful career with Linkin Park. But this is a disservice to the record being a platform for his hip-hop prowess by removing the Linkin Park nu metal and alternative rock association. What's left is Shinoda's production, flow, and underground hip-hop credibility. While Shinoda can't completely remove the bombast and sleek shine present in his production, The Rising Tide is an unfiltered representation of one of the modern hip-hop's most unique voices. Causing a stir at number 4 is He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Before he was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith was the MC of this hip-hop duo. Needless to say, Smith's acting career has all but overshadowed his music, in particular his earlier career in which the emphasis was actually on DJ Jazzy Jeff feels like a footnote in the otherwise gigantic mainstream career. All of this being said, the second record from this duo is well produced, cleverly written, and manages a unique feat, performing uncontroversial and rather safe music at the time when hip-hop was doubling down on pushing the envelope on subject matter. Regardless if this is considered a good or a bad thing, it makes He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper one of the last examples of the golden age of hip-hop and a watermark in the genre's first great era. Coming in at number 3 is Return to the 36 Chambers, the Dirty Version by Old Dirty Bastard. The Wu-Tang Clan is one of the most celebrated musical collectives in music history and helped to establish hardcore rap in the 1990s. While many of the members would have illustrious solo careers, long-lasting influence would evade the group's most outrageous member, Old Dirty Bastard. His Wu-Tang referencing debut Return to the 36 Chambers, the Dirty Version, magnified ODB's style within the Wu-Tang context. Wild non sequiturs, theatrically sung parts, and outlandish comedic premises. In today's underground hip-hop scene, ODB's flow and persona would have thrived and can be felt in the rhymes of MCs from the likes of Dizzy Rascal to MF Doom. Number 2 is The Brown Tape by Ghostface Killah, another inclusion by a member of the Wu-Tang Clan. Unlike Old Dirty Bastard, Ghostface Killah's solo career had been well established and had successfully created an artistic identity aside from the musical collective. What differentiates The Brown Tape is the fact that it is a rearranged and reproduced album. Prior to producer Apollo Brown reimagining the record entirely, the record existed as 12 Reasons to Die, a mafioso revenge story akin to a Quentin Tarantino-style movie. The Brown Tape feels more like a stage production, leaving the lyrics front and center and allowing raw emotion and storytelling to come forward. While 12 Reasons to Die is still the more notable of the two iterations within Ghostface Killah's catalog, the Brown Tape represents how a hip-hop record can transform and provide a different perspective of the same story. And taking our number 1 spot is The Mouse and the Mask by Danger Doom. MF Doom cemented his underground legacy with Mad Villainy, his collaboration album with Madlib. But in working with Danger Mouse, he reached the closest he'd come to a bona fide classic. Danger Mouse had come off his work with the likes of Gnarls Barkley and Gorillaz, and by bringing his tremendous indie production to MF Doom, this 2005 album felt larger than life. Similar to Old Dirty Bastard, MF Doom's flow and rhymes aren't always the most accessible. Mainstream pop wasn't gonna gravitate to this record, nor were their clear singles present. Nonetheless, the talent and cohesiveness of this collaborative album harkens to the earliest forms of DJ meets MC style hip-hop, while seemingly integrating the sneer and cynicism hardcore rap had developed. The Mouse and the Mask isn't a classic, but listen to it just once and it'll become a classic album for you. Thanks so much for watching Top 10 Tunes. Be sure to comment below with your favorite hip-hop album that should have been a classic, your favorite underrated album. Let us know in the comments and be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.